Here we go, the 85th and 86th countries, Lithuania and Estonia. So from Georgia, I took a flight to the capital, Vilnius of Lithuania via Wizz Air. I was doing couchsurfing in Vilnius. My host was a local. His neighbor was an artist from Belarus. So during my visit there, his neighbor came back to Belarus for exhibition. So my host offered his neighbor's apartment to allow me to stay, but there was no toilet equipped in that apartment. So my host's apartment is just next door. So during the night, he didn't lock his house in order to let me borrow the toilet. I cooked for him, and then he took the extra food to work because he really enjoyed it. And my host loves exercise, especially cycling, and he has got a dog named Mango. During my visit there, he was busy at work, so most of the time we walked his dog after he finished work. He gave me tips for seeing Lithuania. So in Vilnius, I took a train between my host place and the center. I escaped the tickets a few times. So I went to Literature Street. There were lots of interesting stuff on the wall. And during the weekend, my host went outside of the city for camping. So he rode his bike, he put Mango in his car and invited his friends to drive for him. I stayed in Vilnius as my base place and then continued seeing some other parts of Lithuania. I took a train to Kaunas, and they were full of graffiti in this town. Then went to a devil museum and learned different monsters from different places. I think this museum is very suitable for my nephew because he was very interested in this kind of stuff. I passed the Kaunas castle, and then there was like traditional dancing performance going. So that was a place where you can feel the modern and the tradition blended together. It's very good for you to spread the culture. Next day I went to Trakai with the train. No, with the bus. Oh, I couldn't remember. And then I got to see the castle. It was summer on the blue sky with the lake together with the orange castle. That was so beautiful. And I returned back to my host place on the same day. He came back from camping and then showed me a little story that on the journey back, he did the same to Mango, put him in the car and himself ride the bike. But Mango thought my host is going to leave him. So he cried, and then after coming back home, he didn't touch his favorite meat. That was such a lovely Mango. After Lithuania, I took a bus to Riga, Latvia. Since that was my second time in Riga, I just did couchsurfing for a few days. And then I took a bus to Estonia, Tallinn. My local friend, Tavi, came to the bus station to pick me up. I met Tavi in Australia. We were both doing working holiday in that time. So he was my roommate in the hostel back to the time we were both in Australia. And then he used to be a youngster who always smoked weed and don't social that much inside the hostel. After he returned back from Australia to Estonia, he told me he was so much eager to study. So now he is a law student. So his slogan becomes, I'll suit you. We went to grocery shopping after he picked me up. Then he drove me to his countryside wooden house located in Oro village. And outside it's kind of countryside style, There's like grass just outside. There's like garden, storage. And inside is very modern. This is a kind of traditional house from his family. And he was thinking to offer me his room on his bed and himself instead sleep on the floor next room. But I feel grateful that he accommodated me, so I choose to sleep on the floor. Tavi made me barbecue for dinner. We're supposed to eat outside in the garden, but there were so many mosquitoes, and then I was so much easier to attract the mosquitoes, so we ate like indoor instead. The next day, it's weekend, so I cooked Tavi English breakfast. Then he drove me around to show me around. We went to the Tallinn Tower. The view at the top was so-so. And then downstairs there was an exhibition about the Soviet times in Estonia. Learned a little bit about history. And then we came back to the city. Visited the weekend market and watched a traditional dancing performance. Tavi told me the local men enjoy going to sauna, and while sauna they gossip a lot. I cooked Chinese food to show my appreciation for Tavi's hospitality, and he showed me some countryside place. During the weekdays, Tavi drove to Tallinn Center to do his internship here in the North Office. I chose to stay in the countryside for the beginning, and he borrowed me a bike to use. And one day I needed to do like grocery shopping, so I followed the map. But after that, I chose the wrong way, so I ride a few hours more than the map told me. That was kind of an exercise for me. Now I've got a friend named Zhu, and he was from Vietnam. He hosted me when I visited Vietnam, and then at the moment he was studying in Helsinki, Finland, and he noticed that I'm in Tallinn. He said he can take a ferry and visit me. So during the appointment day with Zhu, I followed Tavi's car to the center, and then I visited the Tallinn Hotel and then some second-hand clothes shops while waiting for Ru's arrival. Since Ru needed to take the same ferry back to Helsinki on the same day, so we only spent 1 hour in the ferry port. He asked me if I'm still trying hard for my travel dream. Then he told me he's died already a long time ago. We used to hitchhike together, and after I visited Vietnam, and then he was the first person to offer me a rain cover for my backpack. He taught me how to hitchhike, and then so we were like travel mates before. So I hope he can born a new dream after the travel dream dead. And then after seeing Ru off, I met up with Tavi, and now I offered him the chocolates which bought by Ru from Finland. And then Tavi was very happy because he really loved chocolate. And then I told Tavi I wanted to have one more barbecue before leaving Estonia, so Tavi made it for me again. Tavi also shared me a story. Not a long time ago, he was invited to go to a lawyer's fancy party. He was so excited at the party, and then he met so many famous lawyers, and then he drank and then drove. So the police catched him, and then he told me that's not very good for his career as a lawyer. And then I advised him, next time just don't drink and drive, because it's not only for his career but also for his life. The next day I said goodbye to Tavi, and then taking a bus heading to St. Petersburg. And then I feel so glad to meet two old friends in Tallinn. So how times fly. Things might change, but friendship still there. I really feel grateful. And the next coming episode there will be